No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. If there's some kind of trouble or pain you're going through, know that you are not alone and someone cares for you. As an individualization of divine point of view, this door is open to you. This door is open. This door right here, this door is open to you. Is open for you. This door is open to you. This door is open. I'm talking about this door. This door is open. I said this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on.
Come on in. This door is open to you. And those of you that are in the building, I ask you to turn and wave to our cameras because there's far more joining us from all around that are not in this building. And we welcome each and every one of you this morning. Thank you for being here. It's a beautiful, crispy fall morning in Western North Carolina. And wherever you are, I trust it is beautiful in the space of your heart. We always begin our time together in prayer. I invite you to just take this moment to pause together as we turn our awareness within. We take this opportunity to just join together in the spirit and in the truth of who we are, that each and every one of us are expressions of the one life. This fall time of year, as nature really shows her colors, just reveals what each plant, each tree, what each expression is made of and how it brings forth its unique nature. Reminding us that we are here too to express our true colors as only we can do. And that however we express, hopefully we are expressing that one spirit of love. So we open this day to what it means to live in the awareness of that as our purpose. And for this time together, may we be blessed and may we be a blessing. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. Thank you each and every one for being here. If you've not yet turned off your cell phones, this would be a great time to turn off your cell phones. I think someone may be having a hearing aid. Last time we had that issue, it was actually a hearing aid we discovered. So if anybody's hearing aids just went wonkers, that it could be it could be that. But we'll figure it out together. We want to welcome you again this morning. We are so blessed to have with us Peggy Ratusz. It's such a treasure. Anytime she's here with us. And Dave De La Rosa, who has been the guitar player here for years, is out of town. He and his wife are spending time with their daughter's family. And so Peggy was kind enough to bring Hank Newman. He plays in her band. And so Hank is joining our band this morning. And you're really in for a treat. So I'm going to invite you to turn your cell phones off as you're going to join together and kick you off. Not kick you off. We're going to kick the service off with a song that says "Down in My Soul" by J.D. Garrett. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I hear the music down in my soul. I hear the music down in my soul. I hear the music down in my soul. and the whole wide world is my home. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul, and the whole wide world is my home. Sing it with us if you'd like. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul, and the whole wide world is my home, and the whole wide world is my home. Down in my soul, yeah. Down in my soul. Well, you're in for a treat. She's got a couple more for you. We want to take this opportunity to acknowledge Reverend Barbara Ann. Reverend Gabby's already in the back, but if we have any young children, young people that would like to be a part of our Sunday school program, if you want to head on over and you can join the ones in the back. I know 2 more are coming with Jessica. But we take this opportunity to remind our young people and to affirm, not just for the ones here, but for all young people, that we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. Would you join me in that? We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. Simon, you got the whole load this morning. If you've not yet turned your cell phones off, we'd greatly appreciate if you would turn those off or put those on airplane mode. It really helps things here. If this is your first time, if you raise your hand, one of our welcoming team members will find you and extend one of these guest cards to you. Unity folks, if you would lovingly point and help our ushers see above the heads and find, there's a couple, and Pamela, there's one over here on the next to the front row. So there's a red heart. If you wear that red heart, we'll acknowledge you as being here for the first time. And to our live streamers, if this is your first time, we want to extend a welcome to you as well. And so to each and every one of you, we give that same blessing we just gave to our young people that says, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. I want to thank you for that. It's no small little thing. Pamela and Charlie Rogers today are the ones that are helping as our greeters, and they're walking around handing these cards. Well, over the past 3 years now, before COVID and when COVID happened, our ushers and greeter team, one particular member turned into being part of our COVID team, our reopening team. And that individual is Linda Ray. She goes by Elle. Would you come up front, Linda? I know you're in here somewhere. Come on up, Linda. Come on up. She's one of these volunteers that you never hear a lot out of, but what you do hear out of is always fun and funny. But I just want to thank you, Elle, because through COVID, she became the leader of our COVID reopening team. She helped us restructure our welcoming team. We recently had a homecoming weekend, and she put all that, like who's on first and who's doing that, and she's a spreadsheet whiz, among other things. Great heart and great people skills. She's been doing this in a leadership role for over 3 years, and she's finally said, okay, I need a little break. I'll come back as a welcomer, but I've got some other things in life right now. And so, Elle, we wanted to take this opportunity. We've got a card for you and a little gift, but I just wanted to express our thanks for all that you do to support your team. She has been able to convince Kate Daigle that she could help hold the high watch right now. And so we're putting out a call. If you feel called to some leadership, if you feel called to leadership, we're looking for some new help and new leadership in coordinating our welcoming team. But to Elle, we want to thank you, and would you extend that blessing to her that says, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. Linda, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. That is no small thing. A couple of reminders, they were on the PowerPoint slide, but just remember the first Sunday in November, which is 2 weeks from today, November 6th. And before I forget it, next Sunday is Sunday Halloween, or it's right around Halloween? Anyway, there's a rumor that Joel Pressman, our longtime bass player, is going to be singing Monster Mash next Sunday. I have a week to figure out how I'm going to fit it in the service. But I know it'll fit. So you don't want it, you're up for it, right? Oh, yeah. Monster Mash next Sunday. Well, then the Sunday after that, the first Sunday in November, immediately after the service, we have what we call a town hall meeting. It lasts about an hour. It just brings you up to date on what's happening here. But one of the opportunities before us, and one question before us is it time to go solar? And so I invite you, please bring a snack and be here if you can to stay a little longer on Sunday, November the 6th.
And it's also the weekend that daylight saving ends, but don't worry about that. We'll remind you plenty.
That's the good week. You gain an hour.
Yeah. So no matter when you arrive, you'll be at the perfect and right place in the perfect and right time.
Yeah. She's going to share today's inspirational reading, and then Peggy has a beautiful song.
Good morning, everyone. So in the spirit of service and light and purpose, I want to share these words with you from Mr. Rogers. Fred Rogers said, "As human beings, our job in life is to help people realize how rare and valuable each one of us really is, that each of us has something that no one else has or will ever have, something inside that is unique to all time. It is our job to encourage each other to discover that uniqueness and to provide ways of developing its expression. In other words, our purpose is to be the light of the world, to walk in the light, our light, every day."
Yeah.
Things have been going wrong long enough to know everything is right. I've been walking in the dark long enough to know, well, I've finally seen the light. I've been losing long enough to know that I'd find the one. And even a blind man can tell when he's walking in the sun. I've cried enough tears to know this feeling called a smile. I've been bottom rung long enough to know when I'm doing it in style. I've been running long enough to know there's no more need to run. And even a blind man can tell when he's walking in the sun. Well, the wind is at my back, and I'm sailing on a ship that's overdue. And I've blown so many chances, but I'm not gonna blow this one with you. I've been seen enough bad times to know good times have begun. And even a blind man can tell when he's walking in the sun. And even a blind man can tell when he's walking in the sun. And even a blind man can tell when he's walking in the sun. Thank you.
Peggy Ratusz, that is so beautiful. Peggy with Hank, Richard, Joel, Joey, and Pete. Would you show them your love and appreciation this morning? Thank you so much. Thank you. They'll be back in a bit. She's got another original song, beautiful song, a little bit later. I love the concept. That is a brilliant line. Even a blind man, even a blind woman can tell when they're walking in the sun. How? Because you can feel it. And that song has a much deeper meaning because we all know what it feels like to walk in the light of your own being or not. That there's a saying that says, don't just be good for something. And we all know when we're being good for something or not. We know what that feels like. Well, that song is perfect for today when we enter into our the fourth week. Is it the fourth or the fifth? I believe it's the fourth week. The fourth week of our series that is based on this book, An Altar in the World by Barbara Brown Taylor. And today she invites us into the practice of living with purpose. Sounds like a simple practice, living with purpose, but in my experience, my personal experience, and my experience in talking to a lot of people and just acknowledging people's conundrums, so to speak, it finds that people often feel that they're lacking a sense of purpose. And one of the things I also notice is people often really try to narrow purpose down so narrow that they forget it permeates every level of our existence. When I think about purpose, it reminds me of a story that I heard of a father, a young man who was an up-and-coming a surgical specialist. He was a doctor, and he was gaining in popularity in his field, very popular. And he was a young father. One day, as he was heading to work, he was taking his daughter to her preschool. And he glanced in the rearview mirror, and he saw her in the back seat, and he had an old stethoscope there, and she had picked it up, and she had it in her ears, and she had the little round part and was talking into it. And just like that, his heart just began to beam. Like, oh my God, She knows what her daddy does. She's proud of me. She wants to follow in my footsteps. And we're going to open a practice together. He just she's going to be a doctor too, and maybe this specialist. And we'll have her, I can already see the sign. And he was just filled with that. And he began to turn down the volume of his radio so he could hear her, because she was just playing and talking. And she had that little thing, and she said, "Welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order, please?" It's a beautiful reminder that your idea of what somebody else's purpose may not be their idea. And what causes your heart to swell and what causes your heart to sink when you think about purpose? Well, today, as I said, we want to look at purpose in the context of, not having a single solitary outlet or way to express your life, but realizing that it's about having a sense of purpose permeate your entire existence. What if everything you did with purpose? You did connected to some sense of purpose that enlivened you. Every Sunday before I speak, one of the last things I do before I leave home is I stop and I say, okay, am I just talking to people today? Or am I here to express what's in my heart? See, there's a huge difference. If I can connect with what's inside and alive inside of me, if I can connect with what's real and meaningful and share from that place, the goal is it will help you connect with what's real and meaningful and alive inside of you. A number of years ago, I was still working in a corporate career, and have you ever climbed a ladder only to realize you got to the top and you said, man, darn it, I think I climbed the wrong ladder. That my life was about climbing ladders and putting out fires and spinning plates, and I was really good at it, but I was so empty inside. And I was also becoming overwhelmed because there's, these people wanted this and these wanted, and I always just felt like I was trying to hit these marks out here. And one morning in a meditative, I'm a journaler, one morning in my journaling time, I just felt this Holy Spirit move through me and sort of right through me. And it said, stop. Don't focus on trying to hit anybody's mark. Let your focus be to let out your spark. And I've never forgotten that. Don't focus about trying to hit the mark. The term sin is an archer term that means missing the mark. Maybe what it really means is we get so focused on that mark that we lose sight of connecting with our spark. And to really let that spark out, because that's what our purpose is to be connected to that light, to that love, to what we may use the terminology to call our God nature, but don't let that terminology limit it. It's the nature of love. It's the nature of the sacred oneness that permeates all of life. To be connected to that and to be good for something in accordance with that. That's what it really means to live and have a sense of purpose. As I said earlier, I've noticed so many people from different walks of life, even people with admirable careers or great accomplishments, lots of experiences, but can be plagued by feelings of dissatisfaction, can really be just almost haunted by this feeling of some void or something lacking. And these feelings often cause people to ask, have I climbed the wrong ladder? Have I missed my purpose? And so it's a true opportunity to really open it up and to say, whatever I'm putting my hand to, my heart to, what is the Spirit flowing through me? What is the purpose that's flowing through me? When we dig in today, the author Barbara Brown Taylor, so far this is a beautifully written book. She was an Episcopal priest. She's done many different things, but she began teaching world religions. And as she began teaching world religions at a university level as a college professor, it sort of blew her Christian ideology apart. Didn't blow it away, but it blew it open so that she could see the one great Spirit operating through many paths. And this book comes, sort of on the heels of her really opening to some of that. So when she's talking about purpose, she says, earlier in my life, I thought that there was one particular thing I was supposed to do with my life. I thought that God had a purpose for me, and my main job was to discover what it was. Well, this thought heated up when I was in seminary, where I attended classes and drank beer with the other students who knew exactly what they wanted to do when they graduated. But she said, I did not have a single clue what I would do when I graduated seminary. I did not even belong to a church. So I began asking God to tell me what I was supposed to do. What was my designated purpose on earth? And how could I discover the vocation that had my name on it? And since it was an important prayer, I searched for the right place to pray it. After a few lackluster attempts by the side of my bed and a few more various cubbyholes around the campus, I found a fire escape that hung precariously from the side of a deserted Victorian mansion next door to the divinity school. Now, she wanted to elevate her prayers, and so what she did was she elevated herself, literally. She said, the fire escape turned out to be an excellent place to pray. Doing something that scared me cranked up my courage. Escaping up instead of escaping down prepared me for other reversals in life. There was not a chance anyone could sneak up on me there, and the wind smelled like the moon. I went up there so many times in the weeks that followed that I no longer remember which night it was that God finally answered my prayer. I do not think it was right at the beginning when I was still praying my prayers in words. I think it came later when I graduated to inchoate sounds. Up on that fire escape, I learned to pray the way a wolf howls. I learned to pray the way that Ella Fitzgerald sang scat. Then one night when my whole heart was open to hearing from God what I was supposed to do in my life, God said, anything that pleases you. What? I said, resorting to words again. What kind of answer of that? I heard again. Do anything that pleases you, the voice in my head said, and belong to me. Do anything that pleases you and have your belonging in God. Have your belonging in your God nature. Do anything that pleases you and have your belonging in love. At one level, the answer was no help at all. The ball was back in my court again, where God left me all kinds of room to lob it wherever I wanted. I could be a priest or a circus worker. God really did not care. At another level, I was so relieved that I slid down the stairs that night that whatever I decided to do for a living, it was not what I did, but how I did it. If I wanted a life of meaning, then I was going to have to apply the purpose for myself. What would it feel like to you if you were, now you have to keep this in context. She wasn't praying, God, I need money, can I rob a bank? And she didn't hear, do whatever pleases you. She wasn't praying, how can I get rid of my neighbor who I do not like? And God said, do whatever pleases you. She was asking, what is mine to do? How am I supposed to show up in this world? What is mine to do? And what she heard was, do anything that pleases you and belong to me. I think that's what St. Francis heard when he wrote, Lord, make me an instrument of peace. Let me do what pleases me, and let me be an instrument of peace, an instrument of light, an instrument of love. And so when we explore what it is, what is ours to do, what would change for you if that became true? If you felt like your higher self told you, do anything that pleases you and belong to love, belong to your God nature, be an instrument for that. What would change for you? Would anything change? She often makes a real point to say that, our work in this world, whatever, it's not necessarily your vocation, your profession. It's not even just your hobbies, your volunteering, that it's the way that we express in every minute of our life, that you're always expressing some sort of spirit. We're spirit animated. We're always expressing a spirit. How many of you know when you express mean-spirited nature? We know we do. How many of you want to confess and know you probably did it last week sometime? We know we do. And it's not to beat ourselves up about that. It's just to realize, is that where I want to land? Or do I want to continually pick myself up and be able to express in a way that pleases me, that brings me joy? And can I have my belonging so deeply rooted in the nature of the one Spirit and in love that whatever I do is coming from that place? If you look at the different traditions, there's a beautiful story that comes from the Chinese tradition. There's a legend. It tells about a group of elderly cultured gentlemen who met often to exchange wisdom and drink tea. Each host tried to find the finest and most costly variety so they could create exotic blends and really arouse the admiration of their guest. Well, when it came the week for the most respected elder of the group to entertain the guest, he served his tea with unprecedented ceremony. The finest china, measuring leaves from a golden box, and the assembled guests just oohed and awed at the exquisite tea and how it tasted, and it was just so exquisite. And as they had their conversation and enjoyed this, what they believed was this rare, exquisite tea, at the end of their time together, this elder said, "The tea you have found so delightful today is the tea that our peasants drink. I hope it will be a reminder that all the good things in life are not necessarily the rarest or the most costly, but the most precious things in life are those that we uphold with purpose." It's a beautiful lesson to remind us that whatever we do, we can do it with that sense of purpose. So when I began this week to really think about, the so what of this, how do we begin to make this practical? I'm reminded of something I heard many years ago, which to me it's an indigenous teaching. I'm not even sure where I heard it or where it came from, but it really made an impression on me. And the teaching says that our purpose is woven with three braids. It's woven together, and you can't extract one from the other. But if you will always work with these three, it will help you connect with a sense of purpose. It'll help you find greater purpose, and it'll help you be an instrument of higher purpose. And these three things is to always ask yourself these questions. What is something that I believe in? What is something that I love? And what is something that I can do? That we all need something to believe in, we all need something to love, and we all need something to do. Now, when I say to do, perhaps a more comprehensive way to say that is we all need to be able to express our fruitful nature. Don't get tripped up in the doing, that it has to be literal hands-on labor. But that we all need something to believe in, we all need something to love, and we all need a way to express our fruitful nature, our spirit. So let's look at these just a moment. We all need something to believe in. I think sometimes in the spiritual pursuit and the spiritual path, we can get so caught up with the abstract that we forget that it's found in the simplicity. Jesus would say things like, the kingdom of God is like leaven and flour. He was always, the kingdom of God is like this or like that. He was always trying to make it practical. It's where you get your hands. It's where you get involved. That we all need something to believe in. I follow the meditation teacher, Jack Kornfield. To me, he's a great meditation teacher. And there was a conversation between the meditation teacher, Jack Kornfield, and the Dalai Lama. And in this interview, they were sharing from a research project they did. They had been working with ex-prisoners. They had worked with them in the prison, introducing the practice of meditation, mindfulness meditation. And then after they were released, they were following these prisoners. And so they brought a group of them together. And now just to sort of get a feel of the room, these ex-prisoners that came together, some of them were men that had been in a high-security prison for over 25 years for heinous crimes. And then there was a variety of other people with different levels of criminal actions. But it also included a group of Tibetan nuns, because in Tibet, at the time when it was legal, they dared pray in public. And so here's this group of people, hardcore criminals and nuns who had been incarcerated because they prayed in public. And so the Dalai Lama and Jack Kornfield asked the question, were there times that you were afraid, and did the meditation practice, did it help? And they said that the nuns were the first one to raise their hands and say, oh my gosh, yes, there were times we were afraid. And so Jack Kornfield said, well, tell us, what were you afraid of? And the nurse and the nun that spoke said, well, we were so afraid that we would lose sight of our original goodness. And if we lost sight of our original goodness, we would lose sight of our compassion. And if we lost sight of our compassion, we would begin to hate the guards. And if we began to hate the guards, we would be carriers of hate in our heart. Isn't that profound? They said in that interview, one of the most hardcore criminals looked at those nuns and said, I've seen some brave people in my life, ladies, but I ain't seen nobody as brave as you. How powerful is that? You see, what they realized was they needed to stay connected. They needed to believe in the goodness of their nature. That no matter what happened, they had to believe that there was a dimension of their being that was part of the original blessing, the original goodness. And they needed to stay connected always. They needed to remain connected and believe in that. But can we believe in that? Because they knew that we're always expressing some kind of spirit. And the kind of spirit that we're expressing really flows from what we believe in. And so when it comes to our purpose, one of the things we can ask ourselves is, what do I believe in? Do you believe in goodness? Do you believe in the ability to be good? Do you believe in a higher power and something that can transform your life? Do you believe that when you are an instrument of peace, you become the way of peace and you become the embodiment of peace? And so when we look at purpose, we need something to believe in. The second thing is that we all need something to love. I shared a few weeks ago when I was on sabbatical, I had my ideas of how it would go, and then there was reality of exactly how it would go. They weren't that far apart, but one of the huge blessings came like this. I was driving in my car. My parents live at the other end of the state, so I was making that long drive across the state, and I was listening to one of my favorite spirituality teachers, that's Carolyn Mace. And Carolyn Mace told a story about she and her brother had walked into a cafe. And they were having breakfast in the cafe, and she said just about the time they came in, these two older ladies came and sat beside them, and one was talking real loudly, so she very easily could figure out one was a mature daughter and her older mother. And the older, mature daughter was saying, yeah, Mom, you should see what Susie Jones, she has just messed up her life. She's so, and you should hear, you would never believe what so-and-so. She was just really loud talking about all these bad things going on. And the older mother was just sitting there with this kind of perplexed look on her face. Didn't say anything for the longest time. And then finally she just put her hands down and she said, honey, I don't remember any of that, and it doesn't make me feel good. She said, remind me what I love. Tell me about the things I love. And Carolyn said she just kind of paused because the lady, it had been so loud, everybody got quiet. She said the whole energy shifted. The daughter sat back and took a deep breath and said, well, Mom, you see that heart you're wearing? Dad gave that to you on your 40th anniversary. You loved Dad. And her mom looked at it and said, I did love your dad. She said, Mom, these roses I brought you today, you always had beautiful roses. You love roses. And her mom said, I do love roses. And she said, Mom, I bring you here because we used to come here. You love this place. And she said, I do love this place. You see, we all need something to love. And we need to remember and stay connected to that which we love. Because only can, however we're expressing and whatever purpose the reasons we're doing anything, have you ever had your love cup be dried up? It's not pretty when your love cup gets dried up and we get bitter. We get broken. And so we all need something to believe in. We all need something to love. And we all need something to do. We all need an outlet, a way that we can express our spirit, a unique way that we And only we can perhaps do that. Richard, I'm going to invite the whole band to come on back up. I love true stories. Anytime, to me, it doesn't even have to be true. A myth can convey an incredible truth. But when I hear stories of people's lives, they really exemplify how we do this. That we all need something to believe in when it comes to expressing our purpose. We all need something to love when it comes to being connected to a sense of purposefulness. And we all need something to do. The author writes in the book, when she's talking about whatever you're doing, she said, I've learned in my life that whatever I was doing, it gave me ample opportunity to choose kindness over meanness. Whatever I did, it offered me a chance to recognize the divine in human form, inviting me out of myself long enough to engage someone whose fears, wants, loves, and needs were at least as important as my own. Of course, they also gave me ample opportunity to act like a jerk, missing my purpose by a mile. Yet even this turned out to be helpful, since recognizing my jerkdom is how I remember this is not who I want to be. I heard a story of a young man named Jacob. Jacob grew up in an affluent home. He had a little bit of that arrogant jerkdom about his nature. Both of his parents were affluent doctors, and they wanted him to be a doctor, but he rebelled, and so he became a dentist. And he really could be arrogant. He could be a jerk. But sometimes the people that, when we come off like that, it's because we have the most tender hearts. It really, sometimes the most harsh people, from my experience, are the ones that are so soft teddy bears inside, and that was Jacob. Jacob was really a good young man, and he had a huge desire to be of service. And so he became a dentist. His parents were so proud, and they were going to set him up in a practice in his hometown, and he said, "No, I'm going to Honduras." Well, they did not like that. But he went to Honduras because he had heard about a clinic, and that clinic was in need of some dentists. And so Jacob went to Honduras, and he really found himself there. It sort of satisfied he had a genuine desire to live on the edge a little bit. He had a genuine desire to march to the beat of a different drummer. But he had a huge desire also to be of service. He was a talented dentist. He worked at that clinic for a couple of years, and he very quickly became the glue. People loved him. He loved what he was doing. And the group that he was working with was part of a Methodist, the United Methodist Church. It was part of their missions ministry. So a time came, and they went to Jacob, and they said, "Jacob, you are the perfect example of what we do here and what we're about. You do this work with such heart. You give of yourself. We need someone to go back to the United States this fall and travel to a few churches to tell them about our mission, because it's part of their mission fundraising." And he said, "No, I will not go do that. I don't want to." But after some more talking to him, he said, okay, he would do it. And he was really nervous about that. And so the very first church where he went was a large Methodist church, and they showed a few slides and told a little bit about what they were doing and offered it up for people to financially support the mission. And the minister said, "Does anyone have any questions for Jacob?" And this woman very quickly raised her hand. And he said, "Young man, I have a question for you. Are you really doing the Lord's work, or are you just cleaning teeth?" Are you really doing the Lord's work, or are you just cleaning teeth? He said, in those few seconds of silence, 1,000 thoughts and images went through my mind. The power of her question went directly to the taproot of my unexamined fear and insecurity. Then it dawned on me. A sigh of relief washed over me like a holy baptism. A smile surfaced on my face and caused the listeners in the congregation to burst into laughter. I responded, "Am I doing the Lord's work or just cleaning teeth? Is there any difference?" To which there was a standing ovation. He went on to say in that moment he got it. But you see, a part of him had still believed that something was wrong, but it was because he wasn't living up to somebody else's ideas. He finally gave himself the freedom. I'm a good guy. What I'm doing is a good thing in this world, and this is how I'm expressing my spark. The author concludes this chapter by saying, the point is to find something that feeds your sense of purpose. The point is to be willing to look low for that purpose as well as high. It may be chopping wood, and it may be running a corporation. Whatever it is, perhaps you will hold open the possibility that doing it is the one way to learn what it means to become more fully human. As you press beyond the idea of being good and allow yourself right now to be really good for something. This week we explore what it means to live with purpose and finding what you believe, what you love, and what's yours to do. How do you express the fruits of your spirit? We want to anchor this in a time of meditative prayer and just listen to the words of this song. It says, my religion is kindness. My prayer is peacefulness. My faith is oneness. And my light is all. My religion is kindness. My prayer is peacefulness. My faith is oneness, and my light is all. I invite you to close your eyes and turn your awareness within. Do anything that pleases you and belong to me. Do anything that pleases you and know that your roots, your belonging, flows from the great Spirit, the one Spirit, the Holy Spirit that permeates all of creation. Do whatever pleases you and draw your sense of value, your sense of being. Draw it from your connection to all that is. Have your belonging. Believe in that. And that will fill your well. That is the only thing that can really fill our cups. As we begin to draw our sense of belonging from the greater sense of connectedness, what happens is we get out of the way to become the way. As we begin to draw our sense of belonging from a greater connection, a greater sense of purposefulness, we now become the sacred shallow, the hollow bone. We become the way. We become the way for the gifts of our spirit, your skills, your talents, your passions. You become the way for the flavor of your being to bring forth the light of goodness. It is that simple and it is that profound. It is so simple and yet we confuse it. We bog it down. We're here to become the way. If this day you would begin to do all that you do, know that you are being good for something. You would begin to see the fruits of your spirit as never before. You would begin to fill your cup with fullness perhaps as never before. You are good for something. You are here to be an expression as only you can be. You are here to be in this world as only you can be, in a way that affirms life, in a way that sings your soul song, in a way that allows you to bloom and to give way to what has bloomed, and then to return as a newer expression of the life that you are. Purpose is your very nature. You are never without it. So my religion is kindness. My prayer is peacefulness. My faith is oneness, and my light is all. My religion is kindness. My prayer is peacefulness. My faith is oneness, and my light is all. So as you gently open your eyes and bring your awareness back, maybe wiggle your fingers and toes. Bring back a smile that is so big that you feel your liver smile. You feel your lungs smile. You'll feel your heart smile. You feel every little cell in your body be well because it's smiling right now. Just feel that. I'm going to invite you. This song segues beautifully to This Little Light of Mine. You know it. Sing it with me. Peggy, would you join me? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere we go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh yeah, now everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Now we'll go back. My religion is kindness. My prayer is peacefulness. My faith is oneness, and my light is all. My religion is kindness. My prayer is peacefulness. My faith is oneness, and my light is all. My faith is oneness, and my light is all. Would you say, I'm here and I'm open for business? I'm here and I'm open for business. Oh, sometimes I say I should be wearing a sign that says under construction. But we're also wearing those signs that say, I'm here and I'm open for business. So this week, I hope you will engage the practice of purpose. The book will take you deeper. We have study questions. We also have some Zoom groups. We have an in-person group that's full, but our Zoom groups, we have 3 different groups. You can pop in them any week, if it's 1 week or if it's been for the whole series. There's information out in the foyer, and we do have, I believe, about 5 or 6 of these books left. You can also certainly get it online if you'd like to do that. I want to just thank you for your beautiful presence in engaging this. I'd also like to invite our usher to come forward, our prayer chaplain to come forward, and Jessica Ayala to please come forward. Due to COVID, we don't pass a collection basket anymore. We're holding off a little bit longer. There's still a lot of germs reminding us that they're around, and so we want to be as mindful and respectful as we can. But as they come forward, it reminds us that this is a spiritual community. It does take our resourcefulness to keep all of this. And that's where we each get to do what is ours to do. So these blue boxes, Bobby, our board president, is holding the blue box. They remind us if you're in the building and would like to leave a donation or a tithe, you can do that. Many of you are giving online. Most of you, we want to thank you for that. And then we remind you that we are also a community of prayer, This wooden box sits in the back. You can literally write your prayer request and put it in. It's held in confidence. You can email them in. You can send them to us any way that you can, and we're holding these in prayer together. And so let us affirm that blessing together that says, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Thank you. Thank you, each and every one. Before Peggy sings her next song, this is an exciting Sunday. Jessica, come on up. Once a year, we kick off what's called a Keepers of the Light program. Jessica's going to tell you just a little bit about that. You want us to show the video before you talk or after? We'll show it first, okay. We have a short video that kicks it off, and then Jessica is going to introduce herself and tell you just a little bit more about this.
Hi, my name is Darlene Strickland, and I'm the Senior Minister at Unity of the Blue Ridge. Unity of the Blue Ridge is dedicated to upholding sacred oneness, enriching lives, and inspiring compassionate living. Our world needs what Unity provides. We all need it. To that end, we have an annual pledge program called Keepers of the Light. It facilitates the necessary funding for this mission. Unity is funded entirely by our participants and supporters. If you find value in what Unity of the Blue Ridge provides, we ask that you invest by making your pledge of financial support. Every pledge matters. It adds to the momentum, and it makes a big difference. You can visit our website at unityblueridge.org. You'll find forms and online resources, as well as some inspiring testimonials. Our staff are also available to assist and speak with you confidentially. I'm dedicated to upholding sacred oneness, enriching people's lives, and inspiring compassionate living, and I know you are too. Thank you so much for your presence and your support.
Jessica put together that video for us this year.
So a few months after I was introduced to Unity Church in Knoxville, Tennessee, was the summer I turned 12. And growing up, I spent holidays and summers with my dad and Texas family. So that summer that I turned 12, I was in Texas. And on my birthday, I got this bright pink Huffy bike. And one day I got this idea that I was going to write notes of our oneness with love and light, our oneness with the love and light that is God running, working in and through us. And I was going to put this in people's mailboxes. So the next morning, that's what I did. Later that same day, after hearing from neighbors, my dad asked me about it. And of course, being the only girl on the block with a bright pink Huffy bike, I denied it. And it's interesting looking back at this moment because as well-intentioned, obviously, and as true to myself as I was being, I didn't really have, my childhood was not one that I felt entirely secure or spiritually safe in. And I felt like I had this sense that I had outed myself in this heavily Catholic environment. And as time passed, I noticed even more so that ideas of aligning with a higher consciousness are not easily understood or accepted in the real world. So Unity as a whole became my spiritual safe haven. It was my home base in many ways as I navigated these two worlds, these two ways of existing. And Unity of the Blue Ridge is where I learned how to merge the two and how to begin bringing what is alive in me into the real world. So I continue to lend my support as a keeper of the light, for my own continued journey, for the collective journey of spiritual outsiders, rebels, misfits, mystics. And So, and for my 2 boys, so they have the opportunity to unfold a spiritual truth of their own understanding and bring that forward as well. So I hope you will also participate and be a keeper of the light in a way that honors your truth, honors your soul. And I will be outside beside the pledge forms, so you can do that. Thank you.
Jessica, I hope you. Our world needs more young people, young mothers, young couples that are doing what you are doing. And I just want to thank you for that. She lives her light so beautifully. Thank you so much. And she's an incredibly successful business owner. She just does so much in our community. So thank you. She will be in the back, and I think Michael Winter, who just had hip surgery and is remarkably here today. So I said, if people don't believe that God operates through science, just look at Michael, the bionic man sitting there. So they'll be available if you have questions. I want to thank you for your presence, for doing what is yours to do. Peggy is going to share a song, and to me this is perfect. This is an original song. She wrote this, and I believe it fits our theme perfectly today. Would you again show your love to Peggy Ratusz?
All I know, and for all I know, we got one good chance. Bridge the gap, cut the crap, snap, snap, snap. We gotta even things out from the left, from the right, down the middle. Gotta make things better, young and old. We got to be bold, take control of a better future. Every little thing affects the bigger everything. What we leave behind will consequence all humankind. Yes, it's true. Big love from me and you will bring our mother back. Back on track is where it's at. Red, blue, black and white separate us, they don't unite. One for all and all for one. Green and clean under the sun. Girl on girl, boy meets world. In and out, no more distinctions. Gay, straight, it's never too late. Tolerance, our latest weapon. Every brother man raises up his fellow man. Without sisterhood, nothing would be understood. This is all we know. Mother Nature won't let go if we heed the call and love each other through it all. All I know is all I know, and for all I know, we got one good chance. Bridge the gap, cut the crap, snap, snap, snap. We gotta even things out from the left, from the right, down the middle. Gotta make things better, young and old. We gotta be bold, take control of a better future. Every little thing affects the bigger everything. What we leave behind will consequence all humankind. This is all we know. Mother Nature won't let go if we heed the love each other, love each other. Through it all, through it all. Gotta love each other through it all. Thank you.
Stand together as we say this closing prayer that says, it's called the prayer of protection, that says, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. May you have a And that is the truth. Amen, she said. Have a wonderful week. Peggy, would you sing us out? Would you sing that chorus one more time? Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week.
Every little thing affects the bigger everything.